Welcome, everyone. Simon Jacobson here. I have a special honor, and I'm humbled to have on with us, sadly, but also, I think, critical to us all, Yossi Schneider, who is speaking to us from Holon, Israel, who is a family member of a family that was taken by hostage back on October 7th. Everyone has seen the pictures of the family members of Shiri, Yarden, Bibas, and their two beautiful children, Ariel at 4 years old and Kafir at 18 and a half months, when they were taken hostage in the most savage fashion. And we've all seen it, the pictures, the images. So above all, I want to begin by saying that my heart and soul, and all of us, I speak on behalf of all our listeners and everyone that's going to view this program, goes out to Yossi and, of course, to the entire family. Yossi is a cousin of theirs, and he agreed to join us and share his thoughts, his feelings. But the real goal here is not just to get the information, but really to join together in unity with our prayers, our heartfelt and soul-felt feelings, to show that we are part of it all. Every one of us is part of this family. Every Jew was targeted on October 7th. So wherever we are in the world, even if it's thousands of miles apart, I want to say to you, Yossi, and to your family, we're with you as much as we can be, and we will do everything possible to cry to the heavens and to the earth, and every possible way to help. And God should bless that we should see the freedom completely unscathed of this beautiful family with the children, and you should be able to reunite with them and enjoy and celebrate the way they deserve. And of course, we can't even imagine the nightmares and the darkness that they're going through, but we have to do our best on our part. So thank you, Yossi, for being here. And I'd love to just introduce you to our audience. And please, if you'd like to open up with anything, I have obviously some questions, but please share whatever you'd like. The floor is yours. The platform is yours.
Just thankful for you to invite me to your show, to your program, and I want to ask you. You said that we need your prayers, and of course we need everybody's prayer because we are Jewish, and we know the significance of prayers. But it's more than that, because everybody knows everybody knows somebody that maybe he have something that he can do to help us, and first of all, to keep the story alive and make sure that nobody will forget them. And second of all, to do our best, as you say, to bring them back as soon as possible, safe and sound. And we really need your help for that. So,
Well, anything you ask for, I would welcome. Any suggestions you have, I totally agree with you, whether people have connections, pressure, and so on. Look, do you feel, let's start with that. Do you feel that everything is being done that's possibly to be done by the Israel? I mean, I don't mind you criticizing the Israeli military or the United States government pressure on, you're dealing here with real terrorists, real animals. What do you think about that?
the result, you can see the result. They are not here. So of
Right.
course, not everything not been done. That's for sure. Uh, as much as if I'm looking on this event from the side, okay, and what I'm seeing is that there is no real management of this event. There is no strategy at all, and we just using opportunities every day. And every new day we're trying something new, but we don't have any. There's just no management. For example, I can say that I'm one of the only families members that think that the only way to bring the 120 people back is by taking Hamas down on his knees and beg us to stop. Because they are, as you said, they are animals, they are monsters. They don't care from anything until we're gonna hold them in some place that it's gonna be crucial for them. But in fact, what we're doing right now is fighting with Hamas in one end, and with the second end, we are feeding them tons and tons of humanitarian aid that get inside of Gaza every day. And I'm not against giving a humanitarian aid to the citizens of Gaza. My problem is that as soon as the trucks crossing the border, Hamas is immediately controlling them, and he's taking all the supplies for himself. And it just if something is got left, so he's selling it to his own citizens in a very high price. So as I told you, we're fighting in one end and we're feeding him in the other end. So it's very difficult to win like that.
So you would not support negotiating with Hamas and for hostages exchange and so on. You feel the only way is to take them down completely. Is that your feeling?
It's not about taking them down completely because it's going to be very hard. But when you come to negotiation with monsters, with radicals, terrorists, you have to come strong. And to come strong, that means that they have something to lose. Otherwise, you can see the last offer that they get. I don't know if you even saw Biden's speech. Okay, that everybody calls the Netanyahu deal. They get so many things that they could never even dream about the things that we allowed to do in the last negotiation, and they still said no. And the reason that they still say no is that they feel strong enough. They see how the world is treating Israel. They see that the world is judging and blaming Israel and everything. That they see that the world is coming with a lot of demands to Israel, and nobody's demanding anything from Hamas. They're asking for Hamas, but nobody demands anything from Hamas. For example, it's been almost 9 months, okay, and not even once the Red Cross even visit our families, not even once for the last 9 months. Nobody knows the situation. Nobody knows if the older people over there getting their medicines, if Kfir is getting all the vitamins and nutrition that is very crucial for his development. Nobody knows. This is a fact. And we just giving and giving and giving, but we're not getting anything back. So you cannot make a negotiation like that.
I happen to agree with you entirely. You know, you look at previous wars, you cannot negotiate with Nazis. You know, you just can't because, and I agree, if they feel any source of strength, they decide they're like the winners. I mean, they're the ones that took hostages and they're being treated as if they're like equals or something. So I couldn't agree with you more. I was just talking on an emotional level, you know, like some of the families are saying, I don't care about Hamas. I want you to do whatever it takes to negotiate and get our children, our family back. They don't necessarily agree, and I'm with you. But some people feel, in their own way, that you could negotiate with them, or you should. But I totally believe, like you said, you have to have something to lose, or else they're not going to cooperate. Yeah.
If I think just with an emotional, of course, I want them back. I want 120 people back. We are Jews, and you know, to save one soul it's worth the world if we're gonna even save one soul. But I want to remind everybody that Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas right now, the one that did to us what he did in the 7th of October, has been released in Gilad Shalit deal. And right now in prison in Israel, there is 50, 60, 70 Yahya Sinwar. So I don't think it's fair to bring one people back, okay, just one person back to bring him in here and that they will do terror attack and kill hundreds of other people. So if you put it on scale, you have to think logically, not just with the emotion, because with the emotion, take everything, just bring my family back. But
I deeply appreciate what you're saying because you have credibility, because it is your heart and emotions are there, and yet you understand this. May I ask you, where were you? That was Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah. Where were you when the news came first on
we
October?
were talking at Holon, and we started hearing the alarms. And there was so many alarms that I said to my wife, there is something wrong with the system. I thought that the system was broken or something because there were so many alarms.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it wasn't broken. really happening. And you
And
know
then the
the
news, then the news started coming. When did you first hear, if I may ask, about that it was your own family?
my family, we have a family WhatsApp group and nobody answered. So I went in the Telegram and start seeing the things that they published over there. I went into Hamas site and the other terrorist organization site and see on live everything that they're doing inside of my country. And when I'm scrolling with all the pictures and movies that they send, I just in one picture I saw those little two Reddits, and I stopped and I opened the picture and I saw Shiri's face. I didn't see the kids because the picture was from behind. I couldn't believe that it was Shiri. I needed to open the second picture, and the second picture was clear enough, to understand that this was Shiri. I was in my room. My wife was in the living room. I just came out the living room, and I just told her in a very numb voice, in a very quiet and numb voice, Shiri's been kidnapped. It was like you're seeing something. It's like a movie. It's not something that you can even believe in real life. That something can like that can happen in Israel and to your family.
What did you do after that? What were your first actions? Like you, sure you.
I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I can call my other family members and tell them what I saw because it's not is in use, especially not to deliver them by phone. I called my cousin Jimmy and I spoke with him and told him what I saw and asked him what we're supposed to do with this information because it's huge.
Right.
Then after a couple of hours, we start telling people. I told my father, I told my other families, and everybody's started to see the movies and everything. So
Horrible. And did you what's your direct, how's your family connected? How are you a cousin to whom exactly? Tell us.
I'm Shiri's cousin. Okay, Shiri's mother, Margit. She's my father's sister. She's the youngest in the family.
Mm.
Shiri's mother, she had Parkinson. She's 62 years old. Uh, Only in midnight, when the IDF succeeded to get control on the kibbutz, we discovered that they are not at home. Margit and Yossi, Shiri's parents, that they are not at home. In the first 2 weeks, we thought that the information that we got from the IDF and the formatic information is that they were also been kidnapped. And unfortunately, after 2 weeks, the IDF found their bodies. We needed to bury
Oh,
them. We couldn't bury them inside of the kibbutz. We buried them in a different place. And when we buried them, it was the first time that I realized what happened the 7th of October because the stories got real. We went to the cemetery and it was a completely new land on the cemetery. It's a very, very small cemetery because there was not a lot of communities over there. A very small cemetery, and the amount of new grave that I saw on this day, you just saw one grave after another with the flowers was still fresh on the graves.
I,
That's where I realized that something really terrible happened in Israel. That's why that's what when it sinks down.
so they were all living in the same. Which kibbutz was this?
Niroz.
So they were all living. Margit and Yosef, the parents were living with their children and
Yeah,
grandchildren.
yeah.
Are there other family members that were living there that survived?
She has only one sister. Her name is Dana. She lives in a moshav about 1 kilometer from there. Luckily, she was saved in the 7th of October. They saw in the security camera of the moshav that the Hamas went through the moshav. He killed a couple of people, he murdered a couple of people over there, but he didn't touch her house. And luckily, she was saved and she's okay.
Oh, I can't even begin. I feel uncomfortable even talking to you, but I can't even begin to imagine what you've gone through since family. I mean, I wasn't aware that the parents were killed. Oh, this gets
They they wasn't killed. They've been murdered. They've been executed. Actually,
okay. I'm sorry. You're right. I used the wrong word. and I don't even want to go into details. But and ever since the 9 months have passed, any information or absolutely zero? You mentioned before from the floor.
We have information from Yarden, Shiri's husband, that some of the hostages that's been released in the last ceasefire were with him, but it still went almost 220 days since we got the last information about it. So you can imagine it's a long time. It's a very long time. And Shiri and the kids just disappeared on the 7th of October, and we don't know anything about it.
I mean, I have to apologize, but like right now, how do you feel? I mean, I again can't imagine. Would you like to share what's going on inside your kishkis, as they say, inside your like?
It's depend when you catch me. There is, first of all, the last 9 months was nightmare. Since the 7th of October, all that I'm doing is getting interviews and meeting with diplomats and traveling the world and do everything in my power, to, as I told you before, to keep the story alive and do my best to try to influence somebody that maybe can give us information or bring them back or whatever. But the days you can find me in a situation that I'm sad, and sometimes I'm like a volcano that want to just burst out from anger, because in the last 9 months we met with so many people and we got so many promises, and unfortunately nobody's doing anything. When I say nobody's doing anything, I mean that nobody's doing anything. There's just zero doing. Okay, nobody's even trying, and and it's very hard. It's very hard to know that you're doing so many things and still you go into a meeting with somebody and he listening to you and he's making the sad faces, and he may sometimes argue, and he makes so many promises, and then as soon as you leave the room, he just goes back to his business, and like this meeting just was erased from whatever he
Never
did.
happened.
It never happened.
Like it never happened, right?
But me, when I'm meeting with some people, when I'm going outside, so with you meeting with diplomats or people that really can be influenced, when you leave the meeting, so you expect them to do like a follow up or maybe a phone call or just something, but it's never happened. Nobody did that. So.
I'm like shocked just talking to you about it. I don't know if you know, I'm good friends with the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, very pro-Israel and so on. I just recently spoke with him and I told him this, because he's a head of state. I don't know how much he can do, but he is definitely in a position. I will tell you right now. I mean, I'm not. I can't. I don't have the power, but I will definitely, as soon as we finish this, I promise you right now. And this is not just an empty promise. I'm going to share with him this video, this interview, because I want him to hear it.
I can tell you that my uncle went to Argentina and met with them over there. He was in a visit in Israel. He was in a visit in Israel, and he met with one of my cousins. So he knows about my family. My family also have an Argentinian passport, so he knows about them. The civilians, Shiri, the kids, and Yarden are civilians of Argentina, so he knows the story. And still, unfortunately, as I told you, nothing has really been done.
No, I understand. But you know what? Another reminder and as much pressure as you said, you do whatever you can. You never know where something breaks through. Look, I wish I could tell you that I have the magic button, here's who we call. But I totally agree with you. The whole climate, the whole world is allowing them to get away with it. You mentioned the Red Cross. It's outrageous. As much as the crime, sometimes even worse are the people around the crime who don't do anything. It's also part of the crime.
It's not just they don't do anything; they're doing things against us.
Yeah.
It's not just not doing anything. When, for example, the UN doesn't believe that there is a case of rape that's been there, the UN the president of the UN in the first week of the 7th of October, one of the things that he said is that Israel should ask herself, what have we done, okay, for Hamas to do whatever he did in the 7th of October? We should ask ourselves why Hamas attack us. And this is the president of the UN.
Yeah,
And
blaming the victim. They're blaming the victims.
but the UN has been sponsored by the US. It's been sponsored by Europe. So it's time for those countries to understand that it's not a legitimate organization, okay, and is acting against a lot of things that it should be with those things, and stop supporting them, stop finance them, and then they will start speaking otherwise, differently. Sorry, it's unbelievable that the UN, we got evidence. We don't need the evidence, but we have evidence of women's and also men's, by the way, that been raped, and the UN doesn't care about it. We just say that it's not true.
How has this changed your? I mean, what were you like before this? Were you also passionate like this, or you were more from a distance? Has this like changed your political views?
I always been passionate, but there were a lot of people that that you look on them from the side, and they look like superheroes. They look sometimes somebody that you admire or you want to be close to them, and you're very unique and smart person. And unfortunately, what I've been through in the 9th of October, I just lost faith in those people.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I'm most upset about, because I have nobody that I can really trust right now. So
and your parents are alive?
yeah.
So your father is, yeah, literally a brother. Wow. You served in the military, I'm sure, yes?
Yeah, I did.
When did you serve?
97 until 2000, and then I was in a reserve until 9 years ago.
What do you think the military are going through when they see this? A few months ago, I was in Israel. I spoke, their soldiers are so passionate and so innocent and so determined. Do you think the politicians are like compromising them? If you put yourself in the shoes of those young men going into Gaza, fighting and trying to free the hostages, trying to fight the war, what do you think it's doing to them? This whole, like, as you said, fighting with one hand tied behind your back, so to speak.
Yeah, of course we are. First of all, I want the audience to know that the Israeli are very peaceful persons. And the IDF is the Israeli Defense Force. It's defense. The only purpose of the military over here is to defend Israel, because we have so many enemies. We are not the attackers.
Right.
I don't think even once in the history of Israel that we started the war.
Correct.
And I know that they're very brave, and I know that they do everything, even gonna lose their life to try to bring every one of those 120 people that been kidnapped. But it's very hard. It's very hard that you see that Hamas is getting back wind from the US, from Europe, from a lot of places. It's very hard that you cannot really fight, because Israel is the only country in the world, I think. I know that. It's the only country in the world that we cannot defend ourselves without other countries telling us what to do, without being judged and being blamed. When the US had the 9/11, nobody told the US that they're making genocide in Afghanistan, even though they killed more than 400,000 people. Nobody told them that they made in genocide. Nobody tell them that there is starvation in Afghanistan. Nobody told them that they have a time limit, okay, that they can fight only for a month or two, and then they have to stop. Nobody told them that. And I have to say something to your audience, to your American audience. I don't know if they even know that there is right now in Gaza 8 hostages that they are American citizens. There's 8 American citizens hostage in Gaza right now, and America doesn't say anything. The US doesn't say anything. There are also Israelis, okay, but it's your citizens. You as a country should do whatever in your power to bring them back. There was 45 American citizens that been killed in the 7th of October. 45 American citizens. It's never happened in a terror attack since the 9/11. If
Right.
we leave 9/11 aside, it never happened since the 80s. There's 45 American citizens, and the citizens in America, in the US, I don't know if they even know that this information. You know, you understand it.
No, I fully understand.
So
Thank you for
I
sharing.
don't know how we are in the media so many we spoke in the media so many times, and we're doing so many things, and still our message doesn't go through, and it's killed me.
Do you think this is pure anti-Semitism, or you think there's something else at work here?
There is, first of all, it's pure anti-Semitic. And second, there is money. It's all surrounded money. Because, listen, for example, Qatar. Qatar is playing a double game right now. She's
Right.
trying to she's trying to do a negotiation with Hamas and to help us. Okay, and she's very involved in that. But Qatar is right now is making a shelter to Ismail Haniyeh, that is one of the Hamas
Right.
leaders.
Yep.
Hamas is Qatar is sponsoring Hamas with millions and millions of dollars every month. So you cannot continue playing those double games. Okay.
And America is in bed with Qatar financially and oil and so on. That's what you're saying.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you're actually going in bed with terror. When you're going in bed with terror, okay, you cannot be surprised that you're gonna be chained someday. Or I've been in the U.S. three weeks ago, and I visited the 9/11 memorial. And for me, I'm sending a lot of time. The 9/11 memorial is just a reminder that what happened to us in the 7th of October can happen anywhere, anytime, even in the US. So I don't know why the people in the US are still giving back wind to terror. What more do you need to experience to understand
Right.
those radical terror organizations? They are not only about anti-Semitism, about Jews and Israel. They will kill everybody that's in a different opinion than them. And if it will never happen. It will never happen. But if they will somehow succeed to finish with Israel, you will be next. You will be next.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. No, the only in 9 months since this happened, the only article I saw where somebody said the United States should threaten Qatar that we will cut off completely, remove our Air Force bases by you. They have Air Force bases. That would, in a second, change things. But I totally agree. The United States is
I walked in New York Street, and I saw those food trucks, and a lot of those food trucks in New York belong to Arabs. And I don't have anything against Arabs because I live in Jaffa is like 15 minutes drive from here. I live among Arabs. I live among Muslims. I have no problem with the Muslims. But when I saw in New York food trucks that playing with speakers Arabic music, and every couple of while I saw even food trucks that you can hear Allah Akbar from the speakers, and I thought to myself, I'm in New York right now. It felt like I'm in a Muslim country, and you don't understand that those radical Muslims exist among they live among you right now, but they don't want to live among you. They want to destroy you. They want to put the Sharia law. The Sharia law is the radical and Muslim laws. That's what they want to do. And those people that inside of the US that think that there is any difference between Al Qaeda that did to you the 9/11 to Hamas, there is no difference. Al Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, Hezbollah, Hamas, they are all the same people, only with a different name. They with the same agenda to kill every person that have different opinion than them. When I'm seeing your universities, I see people from the gay population that supporting Palestine, what Hamas doing right now, it's like I don't know if this. Sorry, I'm to say I don't know if they're stupid or just ignorant. Because if they will come to us, I'm inviting them to come to Gaza, and if they are lucky, they're just gonna kill them. They're not gonna molest them or torture them before. They're just gonna throw them from some roof without doing anything else. They just because they're gay, they're not. They don't need even any other reason. The things that they will do to them, they will you regret the thing, this moment that they supported Hamas. It's crazy.
Like you said, either stupid or ignorant, but that's a bit, yeah, there's no question about that. What can I say? On a different note, if I may ask, when was the last time you actually saw Shiri or Yarden or the two children, Kafir and
it was at Shavuot last year. Shavuot. May, Shavuot last year.
Oh, really? You were together?
Yeah. Every Shavuot in the kibbutz, Shavuot, it's all about the things that coming from the land, the milk and everything.
Right. So you were there? You were there in the kibbutz?
Yeah, in the kibbutz, we usually went over there every year because it's really a big celebration in the kibbutz. And unfortunately, I will never have the same experience again.
And are those children as cute as they look in the pictures?
Listen, yesterday it was 263 days that they've been in captivity, and before Fear lived as a free baby 262 days. You understand? It's just a baby, and he lives more days in captivities than what he has as a free person. I'm telling to the world, even in war, the worst war, because there is still laws, and one of the laws is that you cannot kidnap children and baby. You cannot take them as an hostages. And the fact that the world is not screaming outside right now, saying this is not about humanitarian, this is not about Muslims against Israel, this is not about Hamas against. There's no argue that they should be released now because is against every law that even exists. And nobody says anything. No human organization, no kids organization, nobody's screaming outside, nobody's hanging signs, nobody's doing it. The fact that there is right now 19 young women in captivity, that some of them, if not, the majority of them, if not all of them, been raped repeatedly every day, sometimes a couple of times. And some of them are soon to be pregnant right now, as much as we know. Maybe some of them even delivered right now. Then they have like a Hamas baby. And you where is all this Me Too organization? Where is the UN Human Organization? Where is everybody? Nobody says anything. Nobody's doing anything. And I'm trying to find the logic behind that. How can it be? Because I'm saying every time that if I'm gonna touch my colleague elbow in my office, okay, just by mistake, she can just say that I tried to molest her, and everybody will scream and I will be fired immediately. And when you know that there is 19 young women, also the men, by the way, also the men been raped and been molested, sexually molested. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And nobody says anything, but nothing. The world keeps silence. Where is all those? Where are all those women organization? Where are they? They scream about any nonsense that happened. They scream outside, and now they just keep silence. And when you see that for 9 months, I don't know if you even can see me right now, but I want to tear my clothes off. I want to scream. It's just it's blown my mind to just think about it, to see that something like that happened in a 2024 in a modern world, in the Western world. We're not living in I don't know, a separate country in a faraway country in some village.
I want to do exactly what you want to do, tear my clothes off and scream and yell as well. You know, you don't like to make comparisons. The only comparison is the Nazi concentration camps, what they did to men, women, and children, and the world also.
They said in Israel that the 7th of October is the Holocaust in colors, because the old movie that we know from the Holocaust is in black and white, but now we have the Holocaust in colors. This is the
Right.
only difference.
And on social media, yeah.
And on social media.
Horrible. Look, I not only do I agree with everything you're saying, I mean, it's just absolutely correct. It reveals. I gave a talk a few weeks ago to a few leaders. I said, the day will come when history will be written. We'll look back at 2023, 2024, and the world will be embarrassed, should be embarrassed of what they did, what they didn't do. Or like you said, even worse, they're feeding it. They're feeding the enemy. Yeah.
The history will judge you. The history will judge you. I will let you know when. Those people that demonstration right now in the universities, in 5, 10 years from now, they're gonna be in key positions. One of them can be the next president of the US. Okay, and he will be close enough to the red buttons. And then it's been the end of the world. This is when the history will judge you. When you are gonna wake up and understand that you slept and didn't do anything when you had the chance to do something. You choose and describe it in every of my interviews. I describe it, you know, those three monkeys that one of them covers his eyes, the other one covers his ears, and one cover. This is the world right now. They're choosing not to see. They're choosing not to speak. They're choosing not to hear. That's a choice that they're doing right now, and it's gonna cost us. It's gonna cost us. If we're not gonna wake right now, it's gonna be too late. Just gonna be too late. When the next president of the US in 10 years from now is gonna be some radical Muslims, okay? And it's a possibility. It's not something, you know, it's not something that you can say that it's can never happen.
They're almost taking over Europe. Yeah.
That's what they're doing right now. You can see that they're in the politics right now. They're in the politics of the US, they're in the politics of Europe. You can see them. You can hear them. And I'm afraid that we're going to wake up to the completely disaster, to the end of the world.
So if you were the president of the United States, what would you do now?
Wake up. I will be wake up. And I'm telling you something about, you know, Biden, as much as I'm not, you know, I'm not involved in the political. He always said that he's a very good friend of Israel, and Israel is his highlight and everything. And I believe them, and I still believe that Israel is they care about Israel. But the things that he's doing right now, everything that he's doing, it seems like he's doing against Israel. For example, one of the things that he did, Hamas published that there is 30,000 people that have been killed in Gaza. Biden immediately, I think 2 days after, or I don't know, a couple of days after, he went to the world media and said the exact same thing. Now we know from the UN report that the numbers are a lot lower, okay? But when the president of the US saying exactly what the terror organization said without checking the information, is giving a back wind to Hamas. And my problem was not just with the numbers, because let's say that there is 30,000 people that have been killed in Gaza. Nobody asked how many of the 30,000 people are terrorists. How many of the 30,000 people been killed by Hamas directly? Because we know that they're shooting people that try to get to the supplies. We know, I can give you just one case of 500 people that have been killed in a hospital for missiles of Hamas that shoot on Israel, and it fell inside of the hospital. Of course, everybody blame Israel, and then discovered that they did a mistake. But they killed 500 people just in one case, and there is dozens of missiles like that fell inside Gaza. There is evidence of that. There's videos and evidence of him shooting in those people, in his own people on the streets. There is evidence of him using, you know, his own people as a human shield. Okay, so take these 30,000 people and ask how many of them has been really killed by mistake, by the way, by mistake, because it's a war. Okay, you can never not damage civilians in war, unfortunately. Okay, how many of them has really been killed by Israel? And nobody asking that. It's just blaming Israel for everybody.
I couldn't articulate it better than you. I think it's as clear as day what you're saying. It's a travesty that is, I mean, but the tragic thing is that this, what about, it's like the blood libels in the past, Alila Dam, completely lies based on nothing, and you just make up stories and you create your own narrative. And it's a combination, like you said, anti-Semitism and money. You put those two things together.
The problem is that we are worldwide. We are 15 million people. The Jews. We're 15 million people. There are billions of people that I think that there's 2 billion or 1.5 billion people. So for every one post that we are making, okay, they can build.
Yeah, but let's be, but you have to give credit. I think, what do you think about the majority of the United States? You think support Hamas? I don't think so. They're just silent. They're not saying anything. But I think when you deal with like that,
sometimes when you're silent, when you go on the street, okay, and you see somebody, a husband eat his wife, and you're not doing anything, so you're
called complicity. Yeah, you're complicit, right?
yeah.
Silence
So
means consent. Yeah.
exactly. So you cannot just go away and not look. You cannot, you cannot, you can tell me that you're afraid to be involved, and then you not want to address him directly because maybe he can eat you also, but you can stop and call the police. Okay, you can do something, not ignoring. And the fact that they're ignoring right now, when I'm going to the Instagram and TikTok and everything, instead of seeing Kfir and Ariel face everywhere, and see those women that being raped face everywhere. Okay, what I'm seeing, people having a good time and enjoy their life and continue living and doing whatever they need. Okay, and I'm not saying that the world should stop. The world shouldn't stop. We need to go back to our life, but we can never forget. We can never forget.
You think the people in Israel are also complacent in this sense?
Some of them. Yeah. Yeah. If you go to Tel Aviv right now, the restaurants are full. Everybody's, again, it's okay that people are trying to get back to their life because it's been 9 months. It's a long time, but you can't forget. You need to invest 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day to make a post on Instagram, to make something on TikTok, on Facebook, to sit with yourself at home and think what I can do tomorrow to help those families. You know, I told you I've been with the US, and I met with Jewish communities, and I need to explain them, okay, about my family. They didn't know them. They didn't know the names. They didn't know things. So again, it's okay because there is a sentence in Hebrew that says, "Rachok me'ayin, rachok me'alev," what's far away from your eyes, far away from your heart. But it's okay that you in the US, you're not living the experience that I'm living right now. You're not feeling that. But you should know. Because when 9/11 happened in the US, here in Israel, we were with you. We felt, we supported you with our heart and soul. We really supported you. We cried with you because you're our highlight. You're my friend. You're my family. You're the one that I'm need to believe that if something gonna happen to me, okay, you are the one that's supposed to stand next to me and not stab me in the back or disappear. And that's what happened right now. For example, the weapon shipments that's stopped right now or being slowed down, or I don't know exactly what happening. It's okay that President Biden he can say to Bibi Netanyahu, I don't want to send you a weapon. But he need to say that in closed room, in his eyes and only for his ears. He cannot go on media and say that and give back wind to Hamas. because that's what is done. Even if he meant well, okay.
Right.
Hamas heard what he said, and immediately he's getting air to his land. He said, okay, the American president is saying things against Israel. A week ago, there was a weapon conventions in France, and they didn't allow Israel to show up to this convention. So when Hamas see that, what they immediately know, okay, France is boycott Israel. It's good for me. It's making me stronger. I don't need to negotiate with Israel right now. And if I'm going to negotiate with Israel right now, I will ask demands that I know that Israel will never give to me. What do I care? I don't need to be afraid.
Right.
There is a time clock on the table, that it's ticking. There's a clock on the table that's ticking, and the time is against us, not against Hamas. Every second that goes by, one of our people being killed over there. Okay, for now there is about at least 50 people that we know that they are not alive anymore. They've been murdered in captivity, and it's crucial. And every second is crucial, and nothing happened.
In your gut, you feel that your family is alive?
I'm describing that I have orange light inside of my heart that's glowing. I have to believe that, because otherwise I can continue to do what I'm doing. It's hard enough right now.
Right.
If they won't be alive, I don't know how I can continue doing that. It's 9 months of unbearable suffering. It's really unbearable.
Of all the people or organizations you've met, has anybody you felt does feel like they keep on carrying the flame and are not forgetting and are being active? Anyone that you
Listen,
feel like?
there is the private forum here in Israel. There is hundreds of people that volunteers and come every day and they volunteers. They're doing everything in their power. There is a lot of people in Israel that doing things that really I can see when I'm going to places and people recognize me, they're crying and they're hugging me and they say, everybody's trying to support us. But as I told you in the beginning, it's not enough because it's not
Right.
getting any results. It's not enough.
So it's like individuals. You see many individuals.
Listen, as you told me yourself, as a person, as a regular person, you have nothing to do. You can just make prayers. You can maybe post something on your web or whatever. But this is what you have to do. You can do.
But
You
like you
can
said, you have to cry out. You have to yell out, but you can't be quiet.
exactly. But nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing it.
Unfortunately, that's what happened. Yeah. I mean, even in the beginning, Biden did say the first few days he spoke well, but then he changed his whole, you know.
I don't know why he's doing that. I don't know if it's because there's an election here in the U.S. or he
For
really changed
sure.
his mind, or he's really changing his mind.
No,
But
no, no.
unfortunately,
It's these are politicians, election pressure from the
so
Democratic
you
Party.
know, Biden is not a young man, and he did a lot of things. He did a lot of things, a lot, and to lose your values just to hold the chair for another 4 years, I can't understand it. It's not just losing your values about small things. It's playing with people's lives just to hold your chairs for a few more years. And you are old enough. You did so many good things. I'm assuming because I don't know exactly everything that he did, but I assume that if he got to be the president of the U.S., he probably did some couple of good things. And to lose every value that you had, and to say the things that you're saying right now, just to hold for another 4 years.
I don't know if he's completely there. It could be other people are pulling the strings, that like Obama and others, never know.
I don't know. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm not getting involved in the political over there. I'm not
But I'll
100%
be very
understanding.
honest with you. But I think you're I think Israel has to do what it has to do and ignore the United States and everybody else. No, like you
Unfortunately,
said before, they have to do what they have to do. This is
yeah,
their
but unfortunately,
country, their people.
we can't do that because we need the supplies of weapons from the U.S. We need supplies from other countries. If they stop supplying, that's what's happening right now. So we cannot fight with rockets, with sticks and stones. Okay, we cannot do that. We need the supplies. We need them. We don't need American boots on the ground, but we need them to supplies whatever we need to
I
win them.
understand. I understand. I'm of the belief that if Israel does what it has to do, America will supply, even though they may yell and scream. Even though recently they're trying to stop it, I don't know. But
Listen,
well, you look,
we are facing a war right now that it's maybe even can be the World War III. We are facing a really threat from Hezbollah in the north. That is, they are
right,
very, very strong. We've been fired hundreds of missiles every day from them. We've been fired from Yemen, from Iraq, from Syria. We've
and
been fired
Iran.
from Gaza every day, and from Iran every single day. And we are alone. We are alone. And if we're not going to get the supplies, that can be the end of Israel. Something that, I'm saying it out loud, and I'm not believing the things that I'm saying, because to hear what I'm saying is something that it's in the worst nightmares. But I understand that we are alone, and then
Yeah,
we are fighting.
but
We are fighting against a lot of countries alone, and we are just a pin on a map. On a map, we are a very, very small country. We cannot protect ourselves for so many missiles gonna be fired on us every day. And the UN said, the UN president spoke a couple of days ago, and about the possibility of war with Lebanon. And the only thing that he said is that he's worried about Lebanon became Gaza. He didn't say anything about Israel. He doesn't care if Israel will be destroyed. He doesn't care.
Okay, but you know what? Am Yisrael Chai. We've been here for thousands of years, and I am firmly confident. Layanum v'layishan shomer Yisrael. So as much as we need other countries, we will demonstrate, we will prove that we will prevail. I feel very confident. I agree with you, everything you're saying, but I think we have to also know we have a strength, that we have been here through history, and nobody could destroy us, and no one's going to destroy us now either. I'm sure you agree.
100%.
And I didn't expect, I didn't know, I didn't write a script, but this has been very, I believe, very powerful. And I definitely hope and help that this will help in some way. And to go back to the original point, the bottom line is, like you said, you're talking about beautiful lives that have been completely torn apart and ripped from us, and are being, as we speak, abused and raped and mutilated and everything. And the people are quiet. Little children, you said it as best as you can say. You don't do that. Nobody ever. It goes against everything. But you're dealing with worse than animals here. You're dealing worse than savages. These are people that are not humans. They're not, they're capable of, that just tells you, that alone tells you enough. Taking little children. And the outrage, well, look, we're not going to retreat in fear or cower. We're here to talk about it, and you've been a tremendous advocate. I wish I could hug you right now virtually, even though we're thousands of miles away. But it's more than a hug. It's whatever support, whatever I can do, whatever we can do. I hope that people who listen to this some of them may have power. You never know who's listeing, I don't know if you know this, but exactly. That I will tell you something interesting. I personally have on YouTube thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of Muslim subscribers from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from Syria. We see it on the YouTube analytics. So you never know. I hope the right people hear it. And but we have to keep on yelling and screaming. God should bless you and your family with tremendous strength. Keep doing what you're doing, and please know that I'm an ally. Anything I can do, anything I can do, if anybody to reach out. But this is what we need to do. We need to keep, as you said, the story alive. Headlines, literally headlines. It should be the first story every day on all platforms, and our prayers obviously are important, but we also need military strength, and we need to show exactly as you said. The enemy must know that they have everything to lose. Unconditional surrender is the only acceptable result. There's no negotiation. You don't negotiate with Nazis. Unconditional surrender, not with the Japanese. We all know the story of history. You must destroy your enemy, and they must know that they're losers. If they think 1 second that they have some edge, you're already lost. That's already a big problem. So you said it as well as it can be said. Would you like to share anything on? I mean, we can go on, and but maybe on a concluding note, something you'd like to share, in addition to what we spoke, or sum up. Again, say anything you want to say.
I'm gonna sum up in 2 words. Just wake up.
Wake up. Well said. And please know, I will. Is there any way people want to help in some way? Is there a way to reach you, or is there anything you suggest, a practical action that people can do? Is there anything like that you can?
First of all, everybody can reach me, and by the media and everything. So I'm reachable. But
we'll post whatever the links are that we have for you, for sure.
Yeah. So the people just need to do everyone should do the first step that is in his power to do that. Everybody should just the little thing. Doesn't have to invest all his day. Just every day a smallest thing to improve the world, to make change, to.
You said it best. Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Yossi, it's been a real yes, and a real honor. And our hearts go out again. I'm going to mention the names so everyone can pray for them and keep them in mind. Talking about Shiri, Yarden, Ariel, and Kafir, Bibas, that God should protect them and release them already, that we can all celebrate a reunion like never seen before in a healthy way, and give them the opportunity to live their lives out. Like you said, a baby, to give them the opportunity to live their lives. Enough suffering, enough pain. And it should only be good news for you and your family, and for all the hostages, and for all innocent people, and for all the soldiers, and for all the men, women, and children in the Holy Land should be protected. Thank you so much. It's been a real honor.
Thanks.